Okay, well, I'll use last night's one for an example because it's always different. So last night I wanted to post. It's been a while since I posted, so I was like, okay, I need to post a video, but I was exhausted yesterday. And I had the intention to create another Bible story, but it takes a lot of work to create that. So I was just like, I need something else. So I was just like, I need some inspiration. So I was just like scrolling on TikTok. And then I saw a video, like a guy, he's mentioned something in the video. It wasn't really fully about that topic, but he mentioned something and it just triggered my head of a situation that I had that's in that video with like someone being like overly spiritual and you can't have a normal conversation with them. So I was just like, oh, that's a good idea. So immediately I just wrote the script and then like a few minutes later I went and I filmed it and I posted it. So that was one that I just did in the moment. It didn't take long. Others, I premeditate, like my Bible story ones. I usually like premeditate those and read the Bible, get the details right, and then create my script. And like others is because of people's comments. People are like, oh, you should do a video about this, and I'll do it. So it's like all over the place.
That's great. That's great. So that leads me to my next question. So how do you go about balancing, like, I guess what you get from God and what people want you to create? So it's not like you're all over the place. So how do you find a balance yourself?
Can you repeat? Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
I said, how do you find a balance between, taking people's requests and not, and also listening to God so you're not all over the place in terms of how you create content?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, the way for example, I get a lot of requests. So many requests I actually don't do simply because I'm like, that doesn't align with like the Bible or it doesn't align with Christ. So for example, sometimes people ask me to do something funny with Jesus, but I'm like, Jesus is not a joke to me. Like I laugh and I make jokes about situations, but I don't make jokes about Christ himself or God himself. Like I don't want to ever take him outside of his character. So the way I kind of balance it is to make sure that whatever I create is a reflection of the Bible. It's a reflection of God's character. I don't want to ever take him outside of character. So it's not like I'm hearing a voice in the room saying, Ariel, create this. Ariel, don't create this. I'm just going based off of his word. He already spoke to us through his word. So I'm supposed to be able to look at his word and see if that content is in alignment with it. If not, I'm not going to do it. That's kind of the way I try to do that.
That definitely makes sense. And being the fact I guess you probably go through this every day, where you have different people who comment on the TikTok you created and give you all these crazy feedback. Some are well. So how do you balance that too?
Well, I try to read as many as I can. I'm always a person who's open to critique. But your critique has to make sense. So like if you're saying something that's like just negative for no reason, I'm like, okay, I can't see the sense in it. So I'm just going to ignore what you just said. And others, people give like really good suggestions and I take that into account. But yeah, it's kind of just to not be closed-minded. I'm not a closed-minded person. People could probably tell by my videos. So I take it all in, but then I filter it and I see which I should listen to, which I should pay mind to, which I should ignore, which I should confront. And yeah, that's kind of just, and it works for me. I don't get into situations where I'm heated or upset at people commenting on my videos and stuff like that.
That's great. That's great. That's definitely great. It's definitely good that you have an open mindset. And I definitely like that about you personally.
Thank
So
you.
how would you advise a Christian content creator on going out and creating content? Because a lot of time as Christians, it seems like, you're not trying to get too religious, too spiritual when you're creating content. You're trying to make it fun. So how would you advise someone to create relatable content?
The way I would say is like, I would say like the same way I would talk to any Christian, whether you're a content creator or not, like in real life. Because to me, what you do, even though yes, you're acting or whatever, it's still supposed to be you. Like you're still supposed to reflect some truth about yourself. So like in your daily walk with Christ, you want to make sure that you're not being overly judgmental, that you're not being overly well, oops, sorry about that. I got an alarm going off. I don't want like to be okay. Let me like get my thoughts together. That alarm just threw me off. What I would say to a Christian is to be real. Okay. Don't base your content off of what people say. Base your content off of Christ. Because if you're making Christian content, it's about Christ. And Christ is practical to me. Like, he's not some kind of like far-fetched idea. If you're gonna make stuff about day-to-day life, don't make people influence what you're doing. For example, some people say like, oh, I remember one time I made a video and people were like, how could you ever just have a natural, like a conversation like that with God? And I'm like, that's how I speak to God. You know, and I'm not going to take that comment and now change my content to make it seem more like with me being super not me, like how I pray. You know, I'm going to pray the way I normally am. So if you're going to get into content creation around Christianity, I believe for one, you should be respectful of the word of God himself, and stay true to yourself as well. Don't try to please others, because if you try to please others, that's where you're going to go off. You know what I mean?
No, that's definitely 100%. That's definitely 100%. That leads me to my next question. So, how has faith so far in this journey help you?
How has faith helped me?
Yes.
I think my faith was everything in this journey. Just from the moment I started TikTok, the moment I started sharing videos on Instagram and getting into other like cool opportunities, everything that I do, I sincerely feel like I can't do anything without God. I can't do anything without my faith. And being blessed in like the ways I have so far, it makes me realize like, wow, I didn't even do this by myself. Like, this is God helping me. So if God helped me to get this far, I need to even increase my faith even more. I need to cling to him even tighter, because I feel like the more that comes your way is the closer you want to be to Christ, so that you don't get blown away and distracted. And to be honest, like I was speaking to someone yesterday about a really cool opportunity that I may be able to get involved with. And I'm not even gonna lie, like I don't know if scared is the word, but I'm gonna use it because I can't think of another term. I almost felt scared, and I kind of just wanted to like grab Jesus to be like, Jesus, don't let me go, because I'm not sure how this is gonna go, because I don't know what's going on. It's kind of a lot. And I just want to make sure that no matter what happens, I'm still being the person he wants me to be. And I'm not going to get like carried off into anything. So I think like my faith has grown stronger, because now I've always been dependent on God, but now I'm like really, really dependent on him to make sure that I'm like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to make a wrong move. So God, I need you to speak to me. And the only way I could get to hear him is if I really like immerse myself into him. So that's what I'm trying to do to the best of my ability.
That's great. So how do you continue to make sure that you're grounded in the word of God, and just when you get these different opportunities and like, oh my gosh, you're anxious to take these different opportunities?
I always just remind myself that it wasn't me who got it, and that I didn't get myself here. And I know for a fact when I try to do things my own way, it always fails. Like, I can't do things according to my own understanding outside of Christ. So I make sure to tell myself, like, just remember God in everything. Just remember him. Like, if you remember him, then it's going to cause you to develop good habits. Like, I'm not going to lie. When was it? Last week, I really fell off of reading my Bible, like, consistently. And to be honest, my week felt off. Like, it felt off. I felt, because I was so overwhelmed with so many things going on, that I didn't get to take the time to really, like, do my devotions, read the word, and just sit down. Sometimes not even pray, just sometimes just sit down and just be like, hey, God, speak to me. Like, I didn't take the time to do any of that. And I'm like, Ariel, no. If you want bigger things to come to you, you can't start slipping now. This is just baby food. Like, this is drops. So I'm like, I really try to push myself to like get myself disciplined with, taking the time to connect myself with the source who's giving me all this stuff in the first place, And I feel like everyone should do that. I think it's crucial for us as human beings to like make sure we're still connected to God.